Welcome back to M.O.R.T.E.M. Today's case is one where two stories collided in the worst possible way. A woman with no criminal history, no gang connections, no role in an ongoing feud, simply opened her own front door, and seconds later she was dead. This is the murder of Joanne Penney. On the evening of March 9, 2025, Talbot Green appeared exactly as it always had. Children had gone home. Traffic had begun to disappear from the roads. Residents were settling in after another ordinary Sunday. Nothing suggested that armed men had traveled hundreds of kilometers from England into South Wales. And certainly nothing suggested that within minutes, an innocent woman would become the victim of a deadly criminal feud she knew nothing about. Joanne Penney was 40 years old. Friends described her as caring, dependable, and family-oriented. She was not a gang member. She was not involved in organized crime. She was not under police investigation. She was simply living her life. But unbeknown to Joanne, the flat she was staying at had become associated with individuals linked to rival drug groups. Long before Joanne answered that door, another story had already begun. Police later uncovered evidence of a bitter dispute between rival organized drug gangs operating across England and Wales. The conflict had escalated over months. Threats became retaliation. Retaliation became violence. Violence became planning for murder. Investigators would later reveal that members of an organized crime group based in Leicester began coordinating an attack on individuals believed to be linked with a rival network operating in South Wales. Those responsible traveled hundreds of kilometers, not for robbery, not for intimidation, but for execution. Investigators would later establish that the intended target was never Joanne Penney herself. She became caught in the middle of someone else's war. The attackers had already decided someone inside needed to die. They watched. Then the front door opened and Joanne appeared. Within moments, multiple gunshots shattered the silence. Neighbors that heard the blasts initially believed fireworks had gone off. Others rushed toward the sound. Some made emergency calls. Few minutes after, paramedics arrived. But by then, it was too late. Joanne Penney had suffered catastrophic injuries and she died at the scene. South Wales police immediately recognized that this was no random act. This was an organized assassination. The investigation rapidly expanded. Thousands of hours of CCTV footage were collected. Automatic number plate recognition systems tracked vehicle movements across counties. Firearms specialists joined the inquiry. Digital forensic teams examined phones. Financial investigators analyzed movements connected with the organized crime group. And everything began forming part of a much larger picture. The murder had not been committed by one person. Piece by piece, investigators reconstructed the conspiracy. Evidence presented during court proceedings demonstrated that planning had extended well beyond a single journey. Investigators connected numerous individuals to different stages of the conspiracy. Some arranged transport, others provided logistical support, others coordinated movements. Each role contributed to the fatal outcome, even though only one trigger was pulled. The prosecution argued the murder could never have happened without the combined efforts of the wider criminal network. As arrests began across multiple locations, those involved found themselves standing before the courts. The trial became one of South Wales' most significant organized crime prosecutions. Jurors spent months hearing evidence, witness testimony, expert forensic analysis, vehicle tracking, DNA evidence, cell site data, digital communications, each piece reinforcing the prosecution's case that this had been a coordinated murder conspiracy. On June 24, 2026, justice finally arrived. 6 members of the organized crime group were sentenced to life imprisonment for their roles in Joanne Penney's murder. Although each defendant played a different role, the court concluded they were all responsible. Because organized crime does not function through one individual. It functions through networks. Without planners, there are no shooters. Without drivers, there are no escapes. Without organizers, there are no murders. M.O.R.T.E.M breakdown. Motive: retaliation linked to an organized drug gang feud, with the intended target believed to be associated with rivals rather than Joanne Penney herself. 9 out of 10. Operations: highly coordinated conspiracy involving surveillance, long-distance travel, multiple participants, logistical planning, and the use of firearms. 9 out of 10. Reach: cross-border organized crime operations spanning England and Wales, requiring one of South Wales Police's largest homicide investigations. 8 out of 10. Terror impact: significant public fear generated by an execution-style shooting in a residential community, demonstrating how organized criminal violence can affect innocent members of the public. 9 out of 10. Execution style: planned targeted shooting carried out by an organized crime group using coordinated roles including planning, transport, and execution. 9 out of 10. Mindset: deliberate, calculated, and mission-focused criminal behavior with little regard for human life or the risk of killing an innocent person. 10 out of 10. Organized crime ends with people who never chose to be involved at all. Joanne Penney's story is a reminder that violence born from organized crime rarely stays within criminal circles. Eventually, it reaches innocent people. Thank you for watching M.O.R.T.E.M. If you found this documentary informative, please consider subscribing to M.O.R.T.E.M and turning on notifications so you never miss our next deep dive into the world's most compelling true crime cases. Your support helps us continue producing factual, evidence-based documentaries that honor victims and document the pursuit of justice. Until next time, remember to stay aware and stay informed.